One of the greatest stars of Hollywood's golden age, the actress Elizabeth Taylor has died at the age of 79. The double Oscar-winning star passed away in hospital in Los Angeles after suffering congestive heart failure. In a career that spanned 7 decades, her best-known films included National Velvet, Cleopatra and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. But her personal life was just as dramatic. She was married 8 times, twice to her co-star Richard Burton. Our culture correspondent Matthew Cain looks back now at Elizabeth Taylor's life.
In a world dominated by celebrity, Elizabeth Taylor was something different, a star. But how will she ultimately be remembered? For her luminous screen presence or her extraordinarily colourful private life? Born in North London to American parents, Elizabeth Taylor appeared in her first film at the age of 9. But it was in National Velvet that she first captured the hearts of the public.
When he takes a jump, he kind of gives a second hitch and tucks his feet up under him, so he's only a body without legs.
While her first films as an adult were patchy, her talent remained constant. And she was soon given the chance to shine in films like Butterfield 8 and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Sister May looked up and smiled and waved, and that drunk shot a squirt of tobacco juice right in her face.
Liz Taylor could act extremely well, but really, if you look at her filmography, we're talking about a burst of films in the 50s and 60s when she was absolutely at her prime. But I think you have to put it in the context of modern acting, which is incredibly natural and vulnerable. And she was doing this at a time that really other actors weren't. There was a cool demeanour, wooden, some people might call it. She was really up front. She was emotional, and I think you really see the epitome of that in things like Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
But her film career soon began to be overshadowed by her headline-grabbing private life, probably best defined by one word: excess. By the age of 25, she was already on her 3rd of a total of 8 marriages. She developed a well-publicised love of jewellery and junk food, and her diva antics on set became the stuff of legend. Perhaps it was inevitable that she'd end up playing not just a queen, but the most extravagant queen of all time, Cleopatra. Perhaps fittingly, it was on the set of Cleopatra that her private and public lives collided. She began a scandalous affair with co-star Richard Burton while both of them were married. Once divorced, the couple went on to marry and divorce each other, not just once, but twice. The whole world was rapt as Taylor and Burton's long-running love story played out in the press.
I think having a fight, an out-and-out, outrageous, ridiculous fight, is one of the greatest exercises in marital togetherness.
The intense public interest the love affair generated helped create the cult of celebrity that would eventually give way to our modern-day obsession with couples like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and the Beckhams. But ironically, Elizabeth Taylor didn't adapt well to the new world order that she helped create. In later years, the serious acting roles dried up and she became a star in name only. Her public image descended into the realm of the caricature and became dominated by her battles with addiction, her eccentric friendships with the likes of Michael Jackson, and her now infamous weddings and divorces.
Married? No!
Only her crusade against AIDS redeemed her reputation during the later decades of her life. Initially spurred into action following the death of her former co-star and close friend Rock Hudson, she went on to raise tens of millions of dollars for AIDS research. But more importantly, she also had a huge impact on the public's attitude to the disease.
It's hard to understate the impact that Elizabeth Taylor had on AIDS right from the very earliest days. She was there at the beginning. And of course, Rock Hudson died in 1985, and the fear that existed in Hollywood and around the world about AIDS at that time meant that what she did was exceptionally brave.
But although Elizabeth Taylor became a heroine for many, much of her own life descended into victimhood. She was often photographed being carried out of hospital and made several public appearances looking frail in a wheelchair. Over the course of her life, she broke her back several times and survived pneumonia and a brain tumour. She died this morning of congestive heart failure.
I will not be told where I can go and where I cannot go.
This final tragedy might now give us a chance to look back and reassess Elizabeth Taylor's life and work, and remember her not just for the colourful private life, but for the acting talent that made her a star.